So today's test, suggested by Terry Neil Booth, thanks Terry, is to set the return to home mode, not to return to home, but instead to descend and to hover. And then disconnect the drone, that's all the strobes on there, and then disconnect Caledonia and see what will happen. Will she return to home, which will override the descend or the hover, or will she in fact hover? Right, we'll put the return to home altitude to, we'll just go for 20 metres this time because it's there's nothing in the way. So instead of return to home, which is at the moment on a signal loss, I'm going to ask it just to hover. And it says the aircraft behaviour when signal lost will be changed after switching. Right, don't know what that means, but at the moment she's set to hover. So I'm going to send her out up that way, not too far, maybe 20 or 30 metres, I think. That'll be plenty. Right, so I'll just send her out, let's say, right, so she's at, let's put her to up to 10 metres. Right, 10 metres, and she's out at 50 metres. So hopefully you should still be able to see on the camera. I think you will be able to, with a bit of luck. And I'll turn her around to face me. So there she's looking right at me. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the controller again, having set the advanced settings to hover. So will that be overridden? Terry, here's the answer to your question. So she's doing nothing at the moment except hovering. But we'll give it 10 seconds or so to kick in and see if she does anything. There we go, Terry. So it looks like in this instance she will in fact hover, which is the last thing that we set the controller to. So I'm going to turn the controller back on. And what I'll do is I'll bring her back in, then I'll send her, I'll change the advanced setting to descend. So let me bring her back in first, once we've established a connection again. And we have. Right, so I'm going to bring her back. That's just to synchronise things up there. And this time what I'm going to do is, I'm going to change that advanced safety setting to descend. I'm going to send her back out. Now I'm not going to let her descend. If she starts to descend, well, I wouldn't be able to cancel it actually, because she'll be turned off. Right, if she starts to descend, it's going to be safe enough there, I think. I'm just going to take a wee run up and check where she actually is. Right, she's safe enough to descend right there. So just check again that she is set to descend. She is set to descend. It's a safe enough area, so if she does start to descend, I'll just let her descend all the way. Turn off the controller. She's getting some interest from some, there you go, she is starting to descend and there's nothing I can do to stop it. I can turn the controller back on, hopefully regain control just before she hits the ground. I don't think I'm going to manage. She is going to go all the way down. There you go. I don't know if you heard the rotors hitting the grass there, but let's go and retrieve her. There we go. How was that, Caledonia? Were you okay with that?
It was okay, but it was a bit feared I'll landing on a sheep.
You don't have to be scared of anything. Right, so there we go. So the answer to your question, Terry, and a good question it was, if you lose connection, whatever you have set in the advanced safety settings is what the drone's going to do. Return to home, hover, or descend. That makes it extremely important before you start your flight to check what you have in the advanced safety settings. Because if you remember in a video that I posted a while ago where I had to go in an odyssey to find Lassie, although I originally had return to home set, for some reason it switched over to hover. And that meant when I did lose connection, I had to walk out and find her because you hovered until the battery ran out and then descended. So, fantastic question. I hope that test answered everyone satisfactorily. If you've got any more questions that you want to ask about anything or anything you like tested, I really enjoy coming out into the Scottish countryside and doing tests like this. I'm just going to turn the camera around here because that's quite a nice wee background there. And I'll let you have a look at that. Doesn't look any different. I suppose it does a wee bit. Right, so if there's any tests that you'd like me to carry out, anything that you're wondering about, what would happen if? What does the drone do if? What happens with the controller if? Then stick a comment and let me know what it is that you want to know, and I'll be more than happy to come out and do that test for you.
Awesome.